short story read. Third video. So in our list, I put there stout, okay? And there is one of those little, fat dogs, but the best adjective for that is stout, It's not only fat, but it's like substantial, it's strong, Other ways to say that: plump, stocky, it's a very nice way, and substantial, depending on the context, okay? And then we also know that this guy is clean cut. On our Quizlet, I put a picture of a man and people are shaving and combing him, right? Because clean cut, it's basically not what I am. If I were clean cut, I wouldn't have, my beard like sticking out and my hair like that, like shabby appearance, right? I would have very well trimmed it and groomed is the way the Quizlet puts it, right? Okay, now let's go back to the paragraph. One more thing. What? This is a question, and then you should pause. What is the narrator talking about when says that the guy looks like a later emperor? Answer. The answer is not that easy, because here we get to know that in order to understand mainly literature, you have to have a developed imagination. And how can you develop your imagination? Literature itself will develop your imagination. And there was a philosopher that once said, the more pictures you see, even if they are imaginary, the more intelligent you will be, And the idea is your imagination will get so strong, and so developed that when you are faced with reality, your imagination can, wrap around reality pretty well, right? Why am I telling you this? Because in order for you to get what the narrator says when he mentions the Roman emperors, you have to see the statue of late emperors, I don't know, Caligula. I'm going to put some in our list here. Let me just so late emperors, and then we get to another very important conclusion, that is, he is not pulling punches. This is another expression I would like you to keep in mind. When you pull your punches, you are fighting, but you're not using all of your strength, all right? So you are pulling your punches. This narrator is not pulling punches, and usually people who work with literature, they do not pull punches. What do I mean by that? They use all they have got to try to create an image. And if by that he has to force the reader into, researching, finding pictures. Imagine before the internet how hard it would be. Going to a museum and looking at the face of a late emperor. So be it, right? So that's the idea here. Okay, let me read again and see if it's completely clear for you. We'll take a bottle of booze along with us to get some girls in to dance, he said. I don't see the opening, said the mate. My question for you is, what opening is he talking about? Pause the video and answer to yourself. Answer. Remember that there was the reef, okay? And of course, because there was a reef, here you would have a lagoon where the waters would be very calm. But of course, if the reefs don't have any opening, then you won't be able to cross with your ship. So ideally, you're going to need an opening. "I don't see the opening," said the mate. He was a Kanaka, a handsome, swarthy fellow, right? Handsome, swarthy fellow, with somewhat the look of a later emperor, inclined to stoutness, but his face was fine and clean cut, right? Clean cut. "I'm dead sure there's one right here," said the captain, looking through his glasses. "I can't understand why I can't pick it up. Send one of the boys up to the mast to have a look." The mate called one of the crew and gave him an order. The captain watched the Kanaka climb and waited for him to speak. But the Kanaka shouted down that he could see nothing but the unbroken line of foam. I don't know if we have seen foam in our first video, but keep in mind, for example, when you are washing the dishes, foam is that white substance, you know, you get from the detergent. You can have foam on your beard, right? Sorry, your beard. Yes, if you're washing your beard, you can have foam on your beard. But I was thinking about beer, right? That light part on top of the beer is also called foam. And of course, you have foam when the waves break. So the guy went up the mast so he could see the whole thing and to see if he could spot, you know, a break in the foam. Because keep in mind, if you have reefs going all the way here, there would be waves breaking all the way, you know, throughout the reefs. And you would be able, if you climb up a mast, you would be able to spot the line of foam. Now, of course, if the line is broken, it means that there is a part of the lagoon that is not protected by the reefs. Okay? So the mate called one of the crew and gave him the order. The captain watched the Kanaka climb and waited for him to speak. But the Kanaka shouted down that he could see nothing but the unbroken line of foam. The captain spoke Samoan like a native, and he cursed him freely. Okay, so probably you were thinking about Samoan, right? So remember, if you are a Samoan, you are a member of the Polynesian people of Samoa. Right? And the captain started cursing the guy who couldn't see, you know, what he was looking for. That is the opening. "Shall he stay up there?" asked the mate. I don't know if I gave you any observations about shall. I don't think so. But I will put the video in the description. Shall. Just keep in mind that shall is a more formal way of saying will to simplify the story, but the story is much more interesting, so it will be there. "What the hell good does that do?" answered the captain. "The blame fool can't see worth a cent. You bet your sweet life I'd find the opening if I was up there." He looked at the slender mast with anger. It was all very well for a native who had been used to climbing up coconut trees all his life. He was fat and heavy. The captain was fat and heavy. For a native, it was very easy to climb a mast like that. "Come down," he shouted. "You are no more use than a dead dog. We'll just have to go along the reef till we find the opening."